Kellyvision.
Gateshead Athletic Stadium, scene of so many fantastic performances on both track and field by some of the greatest athletes in the world, including, of course, local heroes like Brendan Foster and Steve Cram. Steve will be running here today, incidentally. It's now 10:56 in the morning by the electronic clock over there, and it's fine, as you can see, at least for the moment, although there are threatening clouds. The weatherman says it'll rain later. I think he's right. That means it'll be tricky for both athletes and television. And looking around, you might get the impression we've got the stadium more or less to ourselves. But you'd be wrong, because since 2 o'clock in the morning, the 100 and more technicians who'll be making today's outside broadcast, with the help of more than £4 million worth of equipment, have been arriving here from all over the place. Yesterday, most of them were in Birmingham till 5 o'clock, drove up here, started work straight away in time for transmission, which starts at 2:30 this afternoon. And they're all parked in the production park over there, and overlooking them is my friend Gaz Top, who this week is on top of the world.
This may not be the safest place in the world, but is probably the best place around here at the moment to see all the vehicles, 18 of them, that make up ITV Sport's outside broadcast unit. Beneath me, I can see the 2 completely mobile scanners. There's the lighting, there's the power, there's the sound, there's the catering. There's just about everything you need here to do an outside broadcast. And this is how they put it all together.
Charles Heath, John Hughes, Grim Talkback.
Where's it coming from? The event press.
On the 1,000 metres then, cram. Right, for camera 4, and I think camera 6 at this time, I'll move you around to the inside, inside bend. It's opposite the 200 metre sign, 1,000 metre start. Close up a cram. So 4 if you stay wide initially to give me the whole line up. And if camera 6 you give us a close up a cram. And then the tracking shot, I think we said that it's safer than trying to move you back, is to be ready in a position on the back straight. Isolate cram if you can amongst the pack. But you might find that you'll be able to zoom in, pick him out, and then come out again just before we need to cut round the angles again.
Now, could we get that a little bit earlier, the 1,000 metres? Because if we can possibly fit that in, then we've got a chance of getting the 300 metres, maybe 1 or 2 minutes late, and still get the empty car off by 4:18.
I mean, the most important thing is that really
that last event.
That last event goes off at 4:18.
Because if it goes off at 4:18 and a half, we're off the air.
John, I know you've got over 100 people in your army here. What do they all do?
Well, you're talking about really a television centre on a location. And so therefore you've got to have people who do all the jobs that you would fulfil in a television centre outside broadcast. So you have somewhere in the region about 20 production people. That's your commentators, the people who are logging videotape, turning things around, your editor, your production staff from the directors. You have 10 odd cameramen, the number of cameras we've got, the same for sound. You've got riggers, you've got videotape engineers, you've got vision controllers, and as soon as you start adding the numbers up, we're roughly around about 100 people. What we do is we decide the priority of the events. Now, a viewer at home will get annoyed if they hear a gun going off and think they're missing a race. If you're staying on field events. So really the track events will take priority over the field events because of that. And then you will vary it. If you have a long race, you will cut away in the middle to go to field events, and if Fatima Whitbread, say, is throwing in the javelin, then you'll go to try and pick her up live for her performances, because invariably she's going to get a roar from the crowd for whatever she does. And if you hear that during a race, it can be a bit annoying. So you go to try and balance it between that. But we are covering maybe 4, 5 other events at the same time onto videotape. And as soon as we can, we turn that round and play it out. So you're keeping up to date with what's happening at the meeting.
Speak to me.
Probably there's something in between 50 and 60 people listening to talkback from you in here, and yours is the voice they're going to follow. Talkback is just basically, it's the microphones and people you see wearing earphones or earpieces, so they're moulded, for instance, a presenter or whatever, so they're not noticeable. It's something that the public don't hear, but internally, while they're talking or operating, you can be given instructions to them so they know where they're going, what they're going to do next, and what pitches to offer.
John, you were an athlete yourself. How much does that help?
It's useful in the sense that hopefully you can give a little bit more insight picture-wise into what the sport's about. So therefore, rather than covering an event from a distance, you know where you can safely go into a tighter shot to get reaction shots, because that's what you're looking for, rather than just wide coverage. Is to actually get a feel of what the athletes themselves are doing. It's not exactly putting a camera right up somebody's nose, because you can be away and you can zoom lens, and you can zoom in from a long distance away. And in fact, on 100 metres, we use a head-on shot. Now that camera is something like 130 metres away, but you can get tight enough with the right lens to a head and shoulders at a distance. So they're not aware of it, but you can get some very good reactions from people at that distance. But the only way to get a feeling of the actual speed is to actually be with them. Now, it's not always possible to do that all around the track, but what we've started doing now is what we call the ITV tracking shot, which is on the back straight, where we're actually now moving with the athletes. Today we've actually gone to a four-wheeled motorbike, which is now, I don't think they'll catch it if we need to get ahead of it. The only thing we've got to watch out is that the end of the straight, he doesn't go through the magic eye and stop the clock. Right, okay, in about an hour then we'll start after lunch. Okay, that's lunch break now, everybody. You're clear for 1 hour.
Oh, I've heard great things about this kitchen. What have you got on? Roast beef, Yorkshire pudding. Oh, I'm one of these awkward vegetable Presbyterians. Can you do me a plate of vegetables or something? Brilliant. They're good, these people. They're good, you know. You're alive. Look at this. Now, that's not bad, produced out of a van, eh? In the middle of nowhere. That'll keep me going until I come back for some more in a minute. Thanks a lot.
This is greed. This is pure greed. How is it that I've got half what you've got and I'm twice as big as you are? That's a bit that.
It's a very, very difficult question to answer. I don't know. You've got to. My excuse is, if you're going to be standing out here all day covering an event like this, you've got to eat as much as you can to keep yourself going.
Your secret's safe with me. I'm running the 1,000 metres in a minute. That's why I'm taking it easy.
Well, I should be sitting this next one out if that's the case.
Very good, sir.
27 roll. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Right, they're on VTR 7.
43 on Tigers.
Right, coming to the Pearl Assurance inlay next, and followed by events, scanner and inlay.
30 seconds on Tigers.
Stand by.
Stand by VT4.
And inlay. And out.
15 seconds.
Right, give me camera 4 of events. Stand
10
by,
seconds
Jim.
on Tigers. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Wait till the shot
1,
changes, and
0.
mixing through, and Q Jim, and
Welcome to
panning.
Gateshead for the Pearl Assurance Invitation. And we're going to start with the men's 110-metre hurdles, and that means Reynaldo Nehemiah finds him to be the best there's ever been at this event. The American, the only man ever to break that 13-second barrier, and this will be his first run in this country since 1981. Quite a prospect then. Let's join our commentary team here at Gateshead this afternoon. It's Steve Ovett, and he's alongside Peter Matthews, and first of all, it's Alan Parry.
So after all the tension, the preparation, all the blood, sweat and tears, all the homework, we're finally on the air. But have you ever wondered how the pictures get to you at home? Because I often have. Gaz has the answers.
I've got the answers. I have. Well, I have, actually. Now then, the signal from the athletics track over there, the pictures from the cameras are processed by the various vehicles in the production village, and finally you end up with one cable with two signals going down it, one for the picture and one for the sound. And that signal is then sent from this truck to this microwave dish which I was stood on earlier on. Now, the signal then does not go from that microwave dish over to Mrs. Eccleston's house, just over there, where she would receive it by her television aerial. Oh no! What happens is, once it leaves that dish, it's beamed by microwave link 3 miles across the water to Tyne television. Tyne television then take that signal and send it down what they call a British Telecom line, which is just like a telephone line. The signal travels all the way to London, in fact to London Weekend Television. London Weekend Television then send that signal down a whole bunch of lines to all the television transmitters around the United Kingdom. And then the signal is sent from that television transmitter to, finally, Mrs. Eccleston's house just outside of Gateshead Stadium. But the signal has travelled 600 miles before it reaches here.
So an exciting finish to that race, and the big crowd here at Gateshead now really looking forward to the appearance of the local hero Steve Cram in the 1,000 metres. We'll have his race and much more action right after the break.
Alan, I calculate you've got about 4 minutes before you're on again.
Yeah.
These guys could run a mile in that time. Do you realise that? It's very humbling.
I hope they don't, though, because we won't be covering them, will we?
No, it could be tricky, couldn't it? The 1,000 metres is today's big glamour event, presumably, is it?
Well, I think it is because it's Steve Cram, and obviously to the people up here, he personifies athletics. He's the man that most of them have come to see, although it's a real star-studded lineup today with Ed Moses and John Walker and many other world greats of athletics. But I think that'll be the event that creates most excitement in the stadium. Yeah, it's funny, there's 2 questions they always ask you as a commentator. One is, why don't you get your eyesight tested? And the other one is, how do you remember the names? Well, I'm afraid there's no great trade secret to it, because we have a marvellous statistician called Ian Hodge, who is a walking computer, and he produces these sheets of information, background, biographical details about the athletes, their best performances and what kind of form they're in currently. And you use that in conjunction with your own preparation and what scraps of knowledge have been retained in your brain. And obviously you keep looking from the track back to your sheet of information to prompt you and remind you who is who and what they've done.
Presumably you haven't seen all the athletes before they're in this race, even though you have notes on them. Have they ever substituted one at the last minute and thrown you completely?
Yes, they have. That doesn't tend to happen very much in this country, but if you go abroad, you can suddenly find maybe these days pacemakers are very much in vogue, and they might throw in a pacemaker who you've never heard of or you don't recognise with that particular event, and that can be a problem. That's when you fall back on marvellous vague phrases like, so the local athlete out in front there, but you can expect to see him dropping out any moment now. When he goes on and wins it, you've got a problem.
Yes, we'll look after that. Do you commentate from the monitor, or from the live action?
It's a combination of both, really. I mean, it depends a lot on what kind of race it is. For a shorter sprint race where all the action will be contained on the screen, you'll probably spend most of your time watching the monitor. For a longer race of 5,000 or 10,000 metres, where there may be an interesting athlete outside of the first 6, shall we say, and you're interested in him and you want to tell people where he is, then obviously you've got to use your binoculars and use your own eyesight to tell the story of what's not on screen.
Do you still get a charge out of it, or is it just a job?
Oh, I think the day it becomes just a job, then you may as well pack in, because if you don't get the same excitement that the crowd do, then you're not going to transmit any excitement in your commentary, and you won't be doing your job properly. No, for the big events and the great races, you're nearly off your seat with the spectators.
What sort of qualities do you reckon you need to do this job?
Well, obviously you've got to love sport, I think. There are different people in our job from different types of background. I mean, mine was a journalistic background. I started in newspapers, and I think to have an editorial brain and know, or think you know, what people want to hear is important. But obviously you have to have a knowledge of the sport, and going back to what you said earlier, you have to be excited by the sport. Those qualities, and a calm head with all the things going on around you, because we're hearing in our headphones all the time the director or the editor always speaking to us, always giving us information, and you have to cope with that.
Stand by, everybody.
And keep talking
Commentators
and not
up on
forget
our
what
output,
the
please.
flow of information is.
Thank you very much.
Cue, Alan.
Welcome back to the Pearl Assurance invitation meeting.
So this tracking shot needs to be on the back straight, doesn't it? You want to get across to the back straight for the tracking shot for this 1,000 metres. Very important tracking shot. And Chris on 4, as tight as you can give me on Cram would be great.
Cram will be bringing some glory for
Let's
Great
give a
Britain.
quick line-up. Put camera 2 in with
He runs
Ulysses.
now in an 8-man field over 1,000 metres in the stadium, where he came
And you
very
credit
close to
Ulysses.
the best ever time in the world, 2 minutes
Coming back to Cram on
12.18,
4.
set by Seb Coe, and obviously holds the
Okay, coming back to
record
Cram,
and the
lose it,
second best
go to
time
4.
ever.
And
Steve
loosen
Cram
4, zoom out now 4.
back after
On the gun,
resting
go to
for a
2.
week
Hold there.
following his disappointment
2.
in Nice, and looking for
Looking for
a good
camera
run
1 on this
today.
first bend, Cram on the outside
Very
lane.
anxious to,
They break by
deflate
you, I
any
think you'll
talk
find.
of a possible
Coming to 1,
attack
cut 1.
on that world best time, of course.
And
which
loosen
one or two
now.
of the newspapers were mentioning.
Loosen now.
I think probably because they saw
And 2.
James Mays, the perennial shadow
And
to
drop him
Steve
now.
Cram, the pacemaker, the American there all in white.
And
in
go
the
with
field.
Cram 3 when we come to you.
Lorenzo Brown, the other American, is in
I'll tell you, I'll
second
take that.
place.
Take 3 now.
Collard,
With
the
6 and 8.
Frenchman, third. Peter Elliott also in the field there.
That's
you see him
it.
in the
Well
white
done.
top and red
And
shorts.
2.
And Cram just following
Good, nice
him
listening,
through.
David. Thank you for that. Looking for the
1,000
tracking shots on the
metres,
back straight.
2.5
Forget about
laps
the
of
first
time.
2 leaders, they're pacemakers, camera 8. Forget about the first 2.
In third, it's another Frenchman, but
Coming to 8, and take 8 now, on 8.
I don't know who it is at the moment.
Well, there was some confusion about this. We were told Collard would be running. We think that's another French runner called Gerard. But we were told that Collard would be there. But
Zoom
now we'll
out,
get
coming
the
to 4,
close-up.
take 4.
Steve is quite
Coming
right.
to 2 and 2.
Cram
Clear the radio to
following
go
the pace
back.
being set by the 2
Don't break the
Americans.
electronic
Mays
eye,
in front.
please.
Second place, Brown. Elliott
Coming
is
to 1
third.
early. We'll let them
Cram
go through
is
and then
fourth.
go with Crammy again on 1.
And it's
Take 1.
54.02 first lap with Cram in 55, and that's about a 2:15 pace for 1,000 metres.
Gary Marlowe.
If you can get back for the last lap,
Steve
it's be
Cram in the
wonderful.
blue vest. And that's Mark Kirk, the Irishman, moving through as they approach the bell.
I mean,
Mays
let
looks
them go through,
behind
come
him
to 3 next.
and gets ready
take
to
3
step
now.
aside. Lorenzo Brown, and the American 800-metre runner, will take over
Well
the lead.
done, 8.
Cram
Well done.
just behind Elliott. So it's Mays, Brown, Elliott who begins his move now, and Cram will follow.
Looking for 8.
He's
Coming
had
to
a
8.
week of
Take 8
improving
now.
his
On
golf
8.
swing and his snooker potting ability.
Go 8.
And he comes back
Might need to
refreshed,
go to 4 early.
wanting to win here in front of his home crowd.
And loosen 8 to show the crowd behind the
Marlowe,
speed.
number 2,
4.
just behind him. Also
Cram with
running
him
well
and
here
2.
and having the confidence to follow Cram.
Brilliant. Well done.
As he attacks Peter Elliott, the leader, on the final
Well done,
bend.
8. Go to the back straight,
Elliott,
ready to do a tracking
who won
shot with Cram,
impressively in
camera 8.
Belfast, and then was second in
Come to
the
1, take
race
1.
in Rome.
Go with Cram 8.
Determined to try and take the scalp
And
of
2.
Steve Cram here. Cram tightens up and looks to attack Elliott. He
He's got
has all
speed.
the
He's got
home
it.
support.
No, he hasn't.
Elliott comes back at him again. A real race to
that's
the
it.
line this, but
Loosen.
Cram wins it. Elliott
Take
second.
3. Take
Marlowe
3.
was third. 2 minutes,
Let's go for the tracking shot, 300
17.35
metres.
the time.
Go off the tracking
A
shot
long
at
way
300
outside
metres.
a record time.
Whiz back.
But as I said during
Stay
the
where you
race,
are.
all Steve Cram wanted was to get back, get that competitive feeling again.
I'll give
and
you Elliott.
win.
Take 2. There's Elliott.
Peter Elliott ran a very good race there and really gave Steve Cram the finish I think he would really have wanted there, because he had to fight very hard in the home straight to win that one. Steve Ovett.
Go to 2,
Yes,
3.
it was a good race from both of those boys.
Come to
there,
8.
but,
Go to 8.
I don't know. I don't think I'd be that happy if I was Steve. He doesn't pull away that fast from someone like Peter, and over 1,000 metres, if he's run 2:12, you'd think that he'd pull away a little bit quicker. But it's early days yet for Steve, and it's not far to go now.
Okay, Steve, coming from 200 metres, wipe to slow-mo 1. Roll slow-mo.
Well, he's obviously
faster,
concerned,
little bit
and
more
Steve Cram is the first to admit it, about his form and the fact that
Well
he's
done,
not
radio
as
camera.
quick
If
and
you'd like to
strong
go
at
to
the
your
end of
right,
races
radio camera, let him go by to
want
your
to
left.
be. He
Oh,
said
no, don't
there's
worry.
problem
If you
that
can,
he
let him go to your left.
Identify easily. He's going well, going exceptionally well in training. He's had no serious injury problems to speak of. He's
Want to
just
wrap
not
on the
there when
freeze
he
here
comes
with
to
us.
the track. As Steve said, he won today, and it was a battle to win.
Slow it up, we'll
against
freeze on the
Elliott.
winner.
But I'm sure he'll be certainly pleased to win, but still looking for more.
Freeze. Hold. 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 And their offers.
Well, it's 4:31 now, and this is a very good beef sandwich. It's the end of a very nearly perfect day, apart from the weather, and I've dropped quite a lot of beef onto my sleeve, but never mind. These caterers have got through an incredible amount of gear today, haven't they?
Listen to this is outstanding. 200 Yorkshire puddings, 60 pounds of roast beef, I like this, 4 gallons of custard, and 48 gallons of tea and coffee, most of which is drunk by you and I think, Chris.
Yes, in fact, the only people who haven't had anything at all are the athletes who've been slogging away on the track there. It's been good fun, hasn't it?
It's been extraordinary, but that's not the end of it for these guys, really.
They're off to, where is it? Edinburgh in the morning?
Edinburgh for breakfast at 5 o'clock.
What a thought. And the cruise, they could be anywhere tomorrow.
There's stories of Birmingham and Glasgow yet to come.
Good luck to them. See you next week. Till then.
Very well.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Kellyvision.